There's a fear that shows up in grief that people don't talk about very much. It's not the fear that you'll cry. It's not the fear that you're going to fall apart. Those are pretty common. This one's common, but we just don't acknowledge it that much. And it's the fear that you're just not moving forward, that something inside you has stalled out, that everyone else is slowly adjusting and you're just standing still in the same emotional place. You wake up with the same heaviness, the same mental fog, the same heartache. And after a while, you stop asking, why did this happen? And you start asking, why can't I move forward? And that question can feel even more frightening than the loss itself. If that question has been sitting quietly in your mind, I want you to hear this clearly. Feeling stuck does not automatically mean that something's wrong. It may mean something very different. And before we finish this video, I'm going to explain to you why what feels like failure may actually be protection. So let's talk about that. My name is Eddie Trauber, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And for over 3 decades, I've walked with people through some of the most difficult and disorienting seasons of grief in their lives. And one of the most common things I hear, especially in the first few months into the loss, is I feel stuck. It's not dramatic. It's not collapsing, destroying you. I'm just stalled. And if that's where you're at, you're not alone. Before we go further, I want to mention something that may support you alongside this video. I've created a free ebook called Walking Through Grief, and it explains what loss does to your body, your thoughts, and your faith. It's designed to reduce pressure while you navigate this difficult season. You'll find a link for it in the description below. Now, in this video, we're going to unpack what stuck really means. We'll look at what your nervous system may be doing underneath the surface, why grief can feel stalled even when healing is happening, and when it may be time to seek more support, and what actually helps movement begin without forcing it. So let's slow this down. When someone says they feel stuck in grief, they're rarely describing one single thing. Instead, they're describing a cluster of experiences. Sometimes it's emotional repetition. The same sadness returns, the same heaviness, the same ache in the chest. And when the feeling shows up again, it's easy to conclude nothing's changed. But emotion and grief often moves in waves, not straight lines. Repetition doesn't mean stagnation. It often means the system is working through another layer. Sometimes stuck shows up as mental looping. You replay the hospital room scene over and over again in your head, or the last conversation you had with your loved one. The what ifs. What if I had spent more time with them? What if I had done something different? The things that you wish you had said or done differently. I once worked with a man who lost his father unexpectedly, and 6 months after the loss, he told me, I think about that hospital room every single day. He wasn't falling apart. He was functioning at work. He was doing everything he needed to at home. But when things got quiet at night, his mind replayed the same tragic moment. He assumed that meant he wasn't healing. What was actually happening was that his brain was still trying to integrate something that arrived way too fast for him to handle and absorb at the time. The mind revisits what overwhelmed it. This isn't failure. It's processing. Sometimes stuck shows up behaviorally. Life shrinks. You stop making plans. You decline invitations. You delay decisions. Not because you don't care, but because everything feels heavier than it used to. And sometimes stuck feels spiritual. Prayer feels flat, like it's bouncing off the ceiling. Scripture feels distant, like it's just not having the impact that it once did. You're not necessarily angry, you're not rebelling, you just feel quiet inside. Now, if we're going to understand why grief feels stalled, we have to talk about the nervous system. Because grief is not only emotional, it's biological. When someone you love dies, your nervous system interprets that rupture as threat. Attachment equals safety. And when attachment is disrupted, the body reacts. Early on, many people move through the fight or flight scenario. There's adrenaline, there's urgency, there's activity. But after that surge fades, many systems shift into something quieter, and that's the freeze mode. Freeze doesn't look dramatic, it looks like heaviness, numbness, difficulty initiating, sitting longer than you meant to, avoiding simple tasks. From the outside, it can look just like stagnation. From the inside, it feels like I just can't move. And many people quietly conclude, I must be weaker than I used to be. I had a woman tell me, I used to handle everything as a business executive. Now I sit in my car for 10 minutes before I can even walk into the grocery store to pick up a few things. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't incapable. Her nervous system was overwhelmed. What looked like hesitation was really protection. Freezing is not failure. It's the body conserving energy when fighting won't fix it and fleeing won't change it. Now let's look at some specific reasons grief can begin to feel stalled. First, avoided emotion. Sometimes grief feels stuck because certain parts of it haven't been approached yet. Not intentionally avoided, but postponed because they feel too big. Busyness can mask pain. Constant activity can delay contact with certain memories. Avoided emotion doesn't disappear, it waits right below the surface. Second, complicated attachment. If the relationship included unresolved tension, regret, or unfinished conversations, those threads freeze in place when someone dies. The mind keeps trying to resolve what can no longer be resolved externally. That can feel like paralysis. Third, secondary losses. You don't just lose the person, you lose shared roles, shared routines, shared identity, financial shifts, social changes. Your internal map of life changes, and recalibrating identity takes time. The fourth reason that grief can begin to feel stalled is isolation. Humans regulate one another through tone of voice, facial expressions, physical presence. Without relational buffering, the nervous system works harder alone. Over time, that strain can feel like stuckness. And the fifth reason that we can feel stalled in grief is pressure, internal pressure, cultural timelines, subtle messages about how long grief should last. When your experience doesn't match expectation, shame begins to grow, and shame slows movement. Now, if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this next part. When grief feels stalled, begin with the body, not the mind, not the timeline, the body. If freeze is present, reasoning won't unfreeze it. So ask a different question. What does my body need right now? Stand up and take a step outside for 2 or 3 minutes. Put your hands in cool water. Take 10 slow steps and count them. Shift environments. You're not fixing grief, you're signaling safety to your body. There's a verse in Psalm 46 that says, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness is not passivity, it's settling. It's a reminder that stability doesn't have to be manufactured by effort. Sometimes what feels like stuck is your system needing that kind of settling before movement can begin. Even Elijah was given rest and food before he was given direction. Sometimes the first shift is physiological. Now, if you notice that certain memories feel avoided, try something contained. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Allow yourself to gently enter the memory. And when the timer stops, end it. You're teaching your nervous system that contact is survivable. Avoided emotion freezes. Contained emotion moves forward. And finally, if what feels stuck is guilt about moving forward, ask a different question. Not, how do I move on? But, what do I carry forward? Choose one quality you loved in the person you lost. Practice that. You're not replacing them, you're integrating them. Now, let's reframe moving forward. Forward does not necessarily mean away from, it means carrying differently. Grief does not move in straight lines. Revisiting a stage doesn't mean that you're failing, it means that you're adapting. Lamentations says, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed. His compassions are new every morning." That doesn't promise instant relief. It promises that you won't be consumed. There is mercy for today. And tomorrow, mercy again. Movement in grief often looks like that. Not leaps forward, not dramatic breakthroughs, just daily mercy. Now, if this conversation resonated with you, feel free to download my Walking Through Grief ebook below. It's going to walk you through what loss does to your body, your thoughts, and your faith without adding pressure to you. And next, I want you to watch the video on why grief comes in waves. It'll help you understand why repetition doesn't mean regression. For now, take one slow breath. You don't have to force movement. Grief is not a staircase. It's your heart learning how to carry love in a changed world. See you next time.